What is up, gym fans? It is the week of February 25th. I'm Patricia. Karyssa is not here. She will be soon. And this is Decoded. So, we took a little bit of time off, but we are back. I have been covering the Winter Olympics. Karyssa has been getting settled in her job in New York, but we are excited to pick back up today after an episode off to be joined by Mya Lauzon, who will be part of our main segment. Karyssa and her are going to have a chat for that, and I'm going to bring you the GN Top 10. So no sticks and wobbles today. I'm sure both Karyssa and I's wobble was probably the blizzard that we both experienced a few days ago because we were both in the New York area. If you are wondering, which you probably don't care, but Karyssa and I did not get to see each other, so I'm sending my love to Karyssa as she edits this. She talked to Mya, and I'm pulling my weight here. So we're going to do a quick top 10, hit the high points, and then we'll get to that interview. And if you're wanting more details on these stories that I'm about to share, you can, of course, check out our website, our social media, and yeah. So, number one, Gage's USAG membership has been revoked. This came out today, right before I started filming this. Gage, of course, is the Great American Gymnastics Express. That's one of the top club gyms in the country and has produced the likes of Leanne Wong, Lindsey Brown, the Finnegan sisters, Brenna Dowell, etc. They even had athletes competing at Winter Cup this past weekend. If you don't know, Al Fong and Armine Barutian, the owners of Gage, a married couple and prominent coaches in USA Gymnastics, were suspended by the U.S. Center for Safe Sport in December. Since then, the two other individuals that they designated as the new club owner of Gage have also been suspended. And although Gage was notified that they were not in compliance with U.S. Center for Safe Sport rules and suspensions, they have not gotten back into compliance, and therefore the gym's membership has been revoked. Athletes have until March 2nd to find a new compliant USA Gymnastics gym to compete for, or they will be ineligible for USA Gymnastics competitions until such time as they find a compliant gym. This is particularly impactful for athletes because this means that with region and state coming up and nationals coming up in the coming months, that if they do not find a gym, then they will not be able to compete at those events. This was all put together and sent to parents of Gage athletes. USA Gymnastics provided the letter sent to those Gage parents to the members of the media, and we have it on gymnastics-now.com. You can check that out. USA Gymnastics also said that Gage is still in the gym database, but that was only until that March 2nd date. And that is because athletes can continue to compete representing Gage until that date, and then Gage will be removed from the database. Number two, USA Gymnastics and P&G are once again partners. USA Gymnastics has brought back on P&G or Procter & Gamble as a top-level sponsor. What exactly that means, specifically if it's going to involve naming rights in the future or whatnot, is not clear, but P&G has slowly been getting back involved with USA Gymnastics after it dropped USA Gymnastics in 2018 in the fallout of the Larry Nassar scandal. And this is a huge turning point for USA Gymnastics since P&G is the first former sponsor to re-sign with the national governing body since that scandal. Number three, Simone Biles and Suni Lee are teasing their LA returns. This is big news, and it has kind of trickled out in the form of two interviews over the past week or so. Simone, of course, we wrote on our site about this, talking to the Today Show, basically saying that Laurent Landy, her coach, has said give him 2 years, and that's basically about the amount of time that Simone had for the 2024 games. So she started training back in like September 2022 and then returned to competition the summer of 2023 and of course competed in Paris. And Laurent has said, once again, let's work with that timeline. And so she has a couple more months to kind of decide if that is where she's going to go. Of course, based off of this conversation, based off of the little signs that Simone has given and stuff, it seems as though she's not quite ready to hang up her grips. So My assumption is that she will return, but we are, of course, waiting for confirmation of that. Who knows? Maybe she'll turn around tomorrow and decide to retire. Suni has also hinted that she may return and that she will probably decide in the next couple of months. This was also in a Today Show interview, so today getting all the tea for the gymnastics fans. But Suni has kind of been a little bit more up in the air, and I think gymnastics fans have been on the fence as to whether to decide if, like, is she really done or not? And of course, not that we're deciding that, but based off of the context clues that Suni has given, is she returning? She seems very happy in New York, living her best life, but it seems there's still that hint of maybe I'll come back. And the appeal of a home games is really hard to resist, which is definitely one of the leading factors for both of these athletes. If it was, Brisbane 2032, maybe we'd be having a different conversation. But LA 2028, a home games, that's kind of a once in a lifetime thing, and not everybody gets to do it. So it seems to be appealing to them. And then, of course, Jordan Childs is showing teases of Aminar trainings and laid out double-double trainings. And it's hard to imagine Jordan not pursuing LA as well. She has not confirmed that either. She's focused on her senior season with UCLA, but we would think out of all three of those, especially, Jordan might be making her way back. Number 4, Winter Cup has come and gone. This, of course, was a pared back meet this year since Nastia Liukin Cup has moved to join American Cup, which will be March 7th. Winter Cup included elite competition for the junior and senior women, the senior men, and then elite team cup competition for the junior men. Winning the senior men's competition was Fred Richard. Hesley Rivera won the senior women's competition. Kylie Smith won the junior women's competition. And Jason Howe won the elite team cup all-around title. And then Region 4 was the new winner in the elite team cup realm. Previously, Region 3 has been the dominant force, but it was Region 4 that took the title this season. Morgan Price has made history in our number 4 headline, and that is with Arkansas's first perfect 10 in program history. Now, it was up in the air who might get this. Everybody was kind of thinking Jocelyn Robertson might get it for beam or floor, but Morgan Price has made a statement here with the Razorbacks in her first season since transferring from Fisk. And of course, this is specifically very historic because she also earned Fisk's first program perfect 10 a year ago on bars. And so she earned last year Fisk's first perfect 10 and then earned Arkansas's first perfect 10 here. Of course, the Fisk one was on bars, Arkansas was on vault, but that is historic. This has never happened before, a gymnast to earn 2 programs' first perfect 10s. And what a way to do it at home in front of the Razorbacks' home crowd, which is always very energetic, exciting, and an awesome place to do it. Number 6, Sky Blakely has returned to vault and the all-around in NCAA gymnastics. So this is actually Sky's collegiate vault and all-around debut, but she has returned to these events after her Achilles injury in the summer of 2024. Of course, at Olympic trials, we all know how it went. She had this injury during training at Olympic trials and was not able to compete after being considered almost a lock for the Olympic team. She has been recovering, competed at Worlds this past fall, focused on bars and beam, and added back floor at the NCAA level earlier this season and has now competed vault. She earned a 9.875 for her vault, a Lopez, and looked very strong in her all-around debut. So it's only up from here for Sky, who is, of course, a sophomore and has 2 more seasons, plus the rest of this season, to make an impact for the Gators. Number 7, on the road at the Gymnastics Super Bowl, Kaylin Chio, LSU's star, scored 2 10s, one on vault, one on beam, against the Sooners in a very impressive outing. Of course, Oklahoma ended up winning that meet by a close margin, but Chio's performance was particularly impressive, of course, because it's hard to earn a perfect 10 on the road in any situation, but to earn 2 is very indicative of your consistency and strength. And Chio has been particularly impressive on those events, vault and beam, all season. She has continued to stick, I think it's maybe 5 in a row vaults, and has looked flawless on beam. So congratulations to her. And as I said, Oklahoma beat LSU number 1 over number 2 in the Gymnastics Super Bowl last Friday night. Of course, last season, Oklahoma visited LSU. This season, Oklahoma hosted LSU. It was a 198-125 victory for the Sooners over LSU, who scored in 197-925. So we're talking about a couple of tenths difference in these scores. And it shows how close these two are going to be as we continue through the season. Of course, we'll see them facing each other once again at the SEC championships, and then very likely at nationals, whether that's in a semifinal potentially, depending on how the bracket shakes out, or in the Final Four. Of course, last season, Oklahoma got redemption, winning another title. After the previous season, LSU won the title and Oklahoma was shockingly eliminated. But then last year, when Oklahoma won the title, LSU was eliminated in the semifinals. So we'll see if both can make it to that Final Four this season. In Iowa State news, of course, if you haven't been keeping up, we've tried to keep track of everything chronologically on our site, but the Iowa State Cyclone season was ended abruptly, and we have been tracking what has been happening with that. Of course, there's not much to go off of. The school says that they're focused on the athlete safety. The coaching staff at some point will apparently be under review. The WCGA has been mounting a bit of a campaign to save this Iowa State program after a letter came out from the Iowa State administration, basically saying that they've had problems with this program before, not really going in detail of what those problems were, but have essentially indicated that, they have to review the program, and it did not sound particularly positive for the future of the program, especially when Iowa State athletics are not in the best situation financially. So stick with us. We'll continue to provide updates on our social media channels and on our site. And like I said, if you want to kind of get a rundown of what all has happened to date, you can go to gymnastics-now.com, and we have tried to chronologically update that situation. And lastly, number 10, we are 1 week out from American Cup. This is the return of American Cup. It hasn't been held since 2020. It is now a mixed team event. At the conclusion of Winter Cup, USA Gymnastics named its team. It has 3 men, 3 women. Of course, the women are Hesley Rivera, Charlie Bullock, and Claire Pease. And then the men are Asher Hong, Yul Moldauer, and Danila Lakin. Yul is no stranger to the American Cup. He has won a couple American Cup titles, very familiar with it, and of course is coming back from a suspension, but looked very strong in his return. He finished second in the senior men's division. Danila Lakin is a rising senior that has shown a particular penchant for high bar and just looked strong across the board. And then Asher Hong is, of course, the reigning U.S. champion, Stanford star. He did not compete at Winter Cup, but he has retained his national team position because he was on the world team in the fall. And so it'll be very exciting to see those 3. Asher is strong on floor, Danila is strong on high bar, and Yul is strong on parallel bars. And then, of course, they have strengths on the other events too. So it'll be very exciting to see that. And then, of course, the women, they will compete bars, beam, and floor. And all 3 of those women have their strengths on those events. So that'll be the U.S. contingent for American Cup. And then there are 7 other teams that will be competing, and we will have live coverage of that event next Saturday. And before that will be the Nastia Lukin Cup in the afternoon, which will see some of the nation's top level 10 athletes, juniors and seniors, competing. And those athletes, many of them, especially the seniors, all of them have already committed to compete at the NCAA level. So it's a great preview of athletes who will be on that college stage very soon. And now, without further ado, our top 10 are covered, and it is time to chat with Mya Lauzon, Cal assistant coach and just recently retired Cal Star, who was really leading the Bears for the past few years. So we were really excited and thankful that we got to sit down and chat with her. And Karyssa, I'll hand it over to you.
So I'm going to pitch it to Mya to introduce herself, and then we'll go into our sticks and wobbles.
Okay, perfect. Hi guys. I'm Mya Lauzon. I'm a former Cal women's gymnast, and now I am back working as an assistant coach, and it's been really exciting. So I'm happy to be here and chat with you.
Yes, NCAA talk. We're excited. All right, my stick, we'll do good first. Let's start good.
Okay.
My stick this week is that we were able to make this interview work because we are
Oh,
on opposite ends of the country. So,
we
timing wise,
are.
I actually can't believe we got the time to work. So,
I know.
that's
Me
my
too.
win for the week. Yes. What's your
Okay.
stick?
Let's see. I would say my stick would be I finally was able to activate my Costco membership that my brother gave me for Christmas. And I've kind of just been super busy neglecting it for a long time. And so I was able to go to Costco this week and finally activate that. And so did a
That
lot of
is
grocery shopping.
such an adult stick of you. Like
I know. I'm
that,
adult.
I know how hard that hits. That's
Yeah,
amazing. I'm beyond
definitely.
happy for you.
Thank you.
Big,
Yes.
big
It was
go fan
exciting.
over here. Yes, I
Mhm.
bet. Okay, my wobble is probably going to be the fact that all the snow just melted in New York from the last snowstorm, and then we got hit with a blizzard on Monday. So that's my
Ooh,
wobble of the week. So
that's not
walking in the sun
wonderful.
again. But what's yours?
Okay, I'm trying to think. I can't, like, remember anything, like, significantly, like, I
That's a
don't know, taking
win.
a turn
That's
this week,
that's a
which is
win.
honestly is a win because the last couple months have been so crazy that if this happened any other week, I would have had 5 to say. But off the top of my head, the last, like, week, it's actually been a good and not so chaotic week, which has been wonderful.
We love that.
But if something sparks later on, I'll make sure to
Okay.
pitch it at the
Feel free
end.
to give us a wobble. You just have sticks this week, and that's a win. All
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
We're gonna get right into it because you have things to do, I'm sure. And it's late over here on the East Coast.
Yeah.
All right. So obviously you were an athlete and then now you're assistant coaching. So can you tell me a little bit about what that transition's kind of been like for you?
Yeah, of course. It's been really exciting. I've been learning a lot, just in the last couple months being on the other side of things, but it's been really awesome being able to work with, a new set of coaches. It's actually really funny because I knew Geraldine and Rich previously from my club days because they were coaches at the University of Minnesota and I was previously actually committed to Minnesota. So it was
Oh
kind
my
of funny
gosh.
when they came back to Cal and now I'm working with them, which is kind of funny. But yeah, it's been really great working with, Rich, Geraldine, Brittany, Maddie, even. It's been wonderful being able to be a part of such an amazing and determined, driven group of people to, keep building the Golden Bear legacy. And yeah, that's been really good. And it's just great being a part of a very familiar environment still, being able to go to practice with the girls at GBRC and like being on the floor at Hostel, obviously working with my former teammates still. So it's overall been a pretty smooth and awesome transition, I'd say.
That's awesome. I did not wow, that is such a fun
Yeah,
fact about the coaching. Like,
yeah,
I was
fun
literally
fact.
gonna say, how has it been? Like, you guys pretty much got
Yeah,
a whole new coaching staff. Like, obviously, Justin and
yes,
Liz
we
went to
have.
Clemson. So I was
Mhm.
like, yeah, that's crazy. I did not know that.
It's actually really funny because, before I came back, when I was still living at home, I was coaching just at my club gym, and Rich had come for recruiting, and so I was able to talk to him when he was there at Metro, and it was just so funny because we were talking about the fact that, they're, coaching at Cal again, and I had just graduated, and he was like, gosh, you just keep trying to avoid us, don't you? And I'm like, because it's just funny that I keep running into them, but now I'm working with them. And so now that's kind of like a funny little crossover that we're having now.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah.
That I didn't even have to ask you that question. That's such a funny fact.
Yeah, it
Um,
is funny.
has it been like just smooth all around the board, or do you feel like it kind of reset a tone, like in terms of Justin and Liz? Obviously, they did incredible things with Cal and now they're
Mhm.
at Clemson. Do you feel like you guys kind of were able to maybe hit reset? And I mean, it's kind of cool that your first year, is such a, little mix up.
Yeah, no, it's definitely exciting. I mean, they have so much to bring to the table. I think they're just we've gotten some new like renovations in the gym. I know they're working or we're working right now on much more like alumni stuff, and they just like bring their own spark to the Cal community, and it's been really great working with them and hearing their new ideas. And I do think they're just going to continue building the, Golden Bear legacy in the next couple years. Obviously, it's still the beginning and things are still fresh right now, but they are such a wonderful group of people. So I think they're going to carry this program very, very far in the next couple years. But it's been great.
Love. All right. What are some similarities or differences of heading to a competition as an assistant coach versus the athlete
Hmm.
yourself? Is that has
Yes.
that been a weird little switch up?
Yes. It has been. It's so funny because whenever I talk to people after the competitions or like the parents or just like my former friends, they're like, gosh, it's so weird seeing you down at Haas or just like on TV, but you're wearing business casual instead of like being in a leotard. So yeah, that's like kind of funny. But no, it's been pretty similar, but also different at the same time. I think when you're actively doing the gymnastics and you're part of the team, and I feel like there can be a lot of pressure knowing that sort of your performance is definitely a part of the outcome when it comes to the team score and just like how we move forward in seeding and everything as season goes down the line. And so I think it becomes more personal and kind of internal throughout the meet when you have to collect yourself before going for a routine. You don't want to be too excited. And of course, like you're exerting all of your energy to your teammates throughout the competition, but you have to collect yourself and it kind of becomes a little bit more personal and internalized. I want to say, I want to say the biggest difference now going out onto the floor as a member on staff is I'm exerting all of my energy to the girls. And so whether that's like a pep talk, bring them snacks or like water, any ways to sort of build their confidence and help them stick to their cues. It's just being able to provide, as much as I can to make them feel prepared for their routines. So I want to say, yeah, just the difference was being an athlete, you have like those moments where it's a little bit more personal and you have to collect yourself. But now being on staff, like all of my energy is kind of anchoring the team and making sure that everyone has what they need to perform to the best of their ability.
Amazing. Love that. And okay, I do want to take you back to nationals last year, your
Yes.
last two routines. Can you kind of walk me through what that felt like? Obviously, you got third on beam, you had stellar performances. Tell me, how was it? The emotions, all of it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it was a very, very bittersweet feeling overall, I wanna say. I think starting on floor, it was really cool rotating with UCLA, especially because they have their floor party, and so they really brought the energy. And so I think, being also there only with my teammate Maddie, and not with the rest of my team, it can be a little bit daunting at first, but, it was really great to have such an exciting and energetic team to rotate with. But yeah, I think on floor, I was just selling my performance essentially. I knew that this was going to be my last floor routine. And floor, I feel like, is an event where you just get to showcase your power, your flexibility, your dance, your personality. And so that was more of like an upbeat feeling, just being able to go out there and kind of sell it for the last time on that event. And so, yeah, that was really good. And I was pretty proud of my performance on floor as that went. It was kind of funny because I was doing floor and beam and we had started on floor. So I essentially had to wait after I competed on floor the entire meet before I could perform again. And so, and also being even like the last beam routine of the meet. That was incredibly, I want to say, like anxiety induced. It was a pretty crazy feeling just having to like wait and sit there, but of course exerting my energy to the girls and to Maddie, of course. But yeah, I think by the time we got to Beam, I think that's when it really started to hit me that, wow, like this is essentially going to be the last routine of my career ever. And so I want to say I was pretty calm by the time that I went on Beam because I was really just soaking it all in that this was going to be my last ever routine. I am going to give it all that I got. I've worked up until this moment to showcase this. And so yeah, I remember going up there and just sticking to my cues and not really getting ahead of myself until I actually got like right before my dismount. I remember I started to get emotional in my dance, like remembering that it was going to be my last routine. But yeah, as soon as I hit the ground on my dismount, I think everything just kind of came upon me. It was so bittersweet, um, knowing that that was going to be the final salute. And so yeah, it was a pretty surreal moment, and I'm really glad, I was unfortunately not able to have all of my team there with me, but I was able to have the support of, Maddie, Ella, my coaches, and of course the Cal fans that we had in the crowd for us. But yeah, so overall pretty bittersweet, but it was really exciting and I think really was the cherry on top of, a wonderful career.
Like, it was amazing. I was there and I was like, wow. I was like, she had to wait a long time to do this new routine. I actually thought so.
Long
I'm
time.
glad that it kind of made you get to be able to soak it in by the time you got there. But I
Yeah.
remember I was like, dang, that's a long time to wait.
I know, a very, very long time to wait, and it was also crazy too because I don't think I realized almost how loud it was, like, at the time when I was going because being essentially, like, the last routine one of the last routines
Mhm.
of the night, and, the teams are starting to figure out who qualified to day 2, like, the arena is erupting, but I was just, like, so calm in
You
and
locked
in
in.
tune. Yeah, I was so
You
locked
were
in and,
locked in.
like, just, like really honing in on the fact that, wow, this is my last routine, like, I had really no external noise going on in my head because I was just, like, soaking it all in, and it just it sealed the deal, and after a stuck dismount, it was just tears.
No. Oh, and then touching on that emotion, you
Yes,
took a minute to
I
post
did.
about hanging your grips up. Can you tell me a
Yeah,
little bit of the why behind that? And
yes.
I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily get the behind the scenes of what it's like
Okay.
for an athlete to retire from a sport that
Mhm.
you've been doing your whole life.
Yeah.
So could you just kind of walk us through like why you waited and also what that process was like for you to finally say, "Hey, okay, this chapter's closed."
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it did take me a very long time to essentially make that post. I wanna say that had happened also for a couple of reasons too, but essentially also one of the reasons why I neglected it for so long was during my last season of gymnastics, we had overheard that the NCAA was actually trying to push for sort of a 5th year of eligibility. I know they were trying to grant student athletes almost 5 years of eligibility to play 5 seasons of their sport, and so when I heard that, I was like I
You were like,
was
"Wait a
was like,
second."
"Wait." Yeah, I know because, as you're going throughout your career, especially my last 4 years of my career, I was like, "Wow, like, senior year is gonna take so long to get to," but as I was going through the motion my senior year, I'm like, "Wow, I, like, really am not ready to be done." And so when I heard that news, I was like, yes, absolutely. I would take up on that offer. And um, of course, that's another year of education that I can pursue. So there were a lot of reasons why I would have wanted to do it. But yeah, so after that fell through. It still took me a little bit to post it and take it to Instagram because I think, when you're an athlete for so long and gymnastics being a part of my life for pretty much the majority of it, I think it really just, starts to define you as a person. And because, gymnastics essentially made up my friendships, my relationships, it made my schedule, it built my confidence. And so I was able to learn a lot from the sport and it instilled a lot of invaluable things into me. But I think as soon as you bring it to social media, it sort of solidifies that you're really closing out that chapter, which I was not ready to do that yet because it felt like I was closing out a piece of me that, I have been pursuing my entire life. And so it was a very emotional period of time. I think it was really also sitting in my drafts for so long. And I was just like waiting for the right time, which just happened to be on a random Tuesday. um,
We
but yeah,
actually recorded the podcast when you posted that. It was like one
really,
of our first episodes, and I remember being like, Patricia, she did it. She posted about it, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so." We were both so sad. We were like, "That's so
yeah,
emotional." It's hard
I
for us
know.
to watch you guys too
Yeah.
go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Super, super emotional. I think I had cried, like, the entire day, really, just I felt like such an emotional, just unwavering support and love from so many people, whether that was my coaches, my teammates, my club teammates, just so many people that have been a part of, I feel like, my whole journey, and so, yeah, I really had to sit on it before I actually, like, solidified the fact that I was done with gymnastics just because like I said, I feel like it really becomes like your sport becomes a part of you. And so when you're retiring, I don't think you think about how it kind of feels like you're losing a part of your identity. And
Oh,
so
for sure.
it was super, super emotional, but also it comes with, pride. And it's so rewarding to know that I made it that far in my career and that I was able to appreciate all the people that helped contribute to it and got me to where I was. But yeah, so that's essentially why it took a really long time. It was just a very emotional process, but yeah.
You Hey, you did it, and then so how did you make the decision to become an assistant coach?
Yes.
Was that
Mhm.
kind of, like, after the eligibility thing fell through, like, you were like, "Wait a second, I'm not fully
Mhm.
done with this sport."
Yeah. So before I had come back to California, and it was also very, very like a quick turnaround and also right before season. But yeah, so when I was still living back home in Washington, I was just coaching at my club gym and that was still kind of in like my buffer period of post grad. Like I was going through my post grad slump kind of period, trying to figure out what my next steps were. And while I was home, I was just coaching at my club gym and, it was actually funny because the time that Rich ended up coming to, recruit, and we were able to chat, I actually had explained to him just, like, what my future plans were, and before I had taken the job, I was actually going to just move back to the Bay Area in at the end of January, and I was gonna start, my healthcare career and kinda go from there, um, yeah, but so, I guess after I told that to Rich and, like, we just had, like, so many of these coaching changes, and it was just so close to season, with a new set of coaches as well. It's just like, well, if you have some people that are willing to come back and, she's already going to be back in the Bay Area in January, why don't we push up her relocation process? And so, yeah, that essentially is what landed me the role, and then I'm so excited that I also got to come back with Maddie as well. So it's kind of funny that two of us in the same class are back helping out this year, but just bringing the familiarity to the team
I
because
know, yeah.
it's been great. But yeah, that's essentially how that all came about. Just it was really out of the blue actually, but I'm so glad that it happened because now I get to build new relationships with these coaches that I didn't have before. I get to work alongside my former teammate. I get to work alongside the girls that I was just teammates with. And I also still get to be a part of a program that, means the world to me. And so it feels good to like give back to the Cal community almost because, I feel like the university and the program itself did so much for me. So it feels good to step into a role where I feel like I'm giving back to the girls and to the program. But yeah, it was a really, really quick turnaround how it all happened, but I'm really glad it did, and now I'm back in the Bay, and I'm able to, combat kind of both my gymnastics and what I want to pursue after this, and, it's been really, really exciting.
Okay, so you are going into healthcare. What are you pursuing after this? Tell us a little bit more about the
Of course.
non-gymnastics of it all.
Yeah, of course. So, my goal is I want to become a physician assistant. So I want to go to PA school. I'm hoping I'll be able to apply in the next year or two, but essentially, I want to be able to start working as a medical assistant so I can start getting some patient care experience. It's really daunting because going into healthcare after being like a student athlete, and especially like healthcare as a whole, there's so many stepping stones and so many steps that you have to, acquire before you actually can even get into a program. And so I felt really, really behind and lost, especially after graduation, because during undergrad, I wasn't able to pursue a lot of, like volunteering experiences, like just working even like part time, because obviously I was giving all of my energy and all of my time to, my sport and my academics. And so now I'm getting, the opportunity to sort of pursue both of those things. And so like right now I'm actually volunteering in the emergency department, which has been super cool. And I'm also doing an internship with sports med for Cal Athletics. And so being able to, just continue build my resume as I'm helping the team, it's been really great. So the last couple months have been really, really awesome. Just like, going from retiring, making that post, feeling like you're kind of lost in that like post grad slump and losing kind of the identity of, having gymnastics be a part of you. But now, being able to give back to the program and sort of being on an upward trajectory and getting all of my little steps so I can hopefully apply for PA school in the next couple years.
It seems like everything's coming together, and I
Slowly
think
but
that's
surely.
so yeah, trust, I'm a few years post-grad, and it takes a second for it all to click, and it
Yeah.
gets there, I promise.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
but
reassuring to hear that.
I swear it does, I promise. The first couple years a little
Mhm.
rough, then it gets better, so,
Yeah, right.
um, what would your advice be to an incoming NCAA freshman?
Yes. I would say the biggest piece of advice that I could just give to an incoming freshman would probably be to just stay present and soak in every little moment of, the team, the experience, because now that I'm on the other side of it and I reflect back on my gymnastics journey, I wish I could go back in time because it flies by just like that. In a snap of a finger, you will be graduated, you will be in the real world. And so, yeah, I would just say stay present and, lean into your teammates, and just enjoy every moment of it because it flies by really, really quickly. And then also, I would say just not to get hung up and dig yourself in a hole when have like a bad competition or even like a bad season. Like it's really hard to get wrapped up into those things when you're going about your entire college career because it's just like sports, it's so competitive, and you, of course, have the expectations and the standards to do well all the time. But of course, like success is not always going to be linear, I think. And so I think beating yourself up about that is not even worth it because when you graduate and you're on the other side of things, you don't really think about those things anymore. You only reflect on the positives and whether that's like the silly moments at practice or like a good competition, celebrating with your team, those kinds of moments are the ones that you reflect on after you graduate. And so I would just say try not to worry about the negatives because by the time you graduate, you're only going to reflect on the good things that came out of your career. So that's what I would say now that I'm on the other side of it too.
That was, like, beautiful. I loved that. Alright.
Thanks.
It was no, you're very well spoken. You're, like, full
Oh,
of wisdom.
thanks. Oh, I try.
You're succeeding, don't worry. Okay, 2 final fun questions. The first one is from, like, a coaching spectator perspective, who are you enjoying watching this season? It can either be a team or an individual athlete. Who you
Yeah.
got?
Oh my gosh. There's so many good gymnasts and so many good teams. Just being able to be a spectator now and just almost, I don't know, enjoy watching the gymnastics from like a fan standpoint, kind of, instead of like being an active like athlete. There are so many good people and teams just competing this season. But I feel like a very obvious one is Kaylin Chio. She has just been so dominant. I feel like last year and this year especially, though, I just feel like every single week of competition, she just, I don't know, her gymnastics is just so textbook. It's like watching, I don't know, it's perfection every single week that goes by. And so watching her is just like really amazing because she's on every single week. And it's crazy. And it's also crazy to think that she is so good and so dominant and she's only a sophomore. So she has such a bright and amazing career ahead of her for still being so young as well. Yeah, so that's a really big one for sure. I would have to say also Ella Cesario, of course, my former teammate and also my best friend. It's been really exciting watching her in her 5th year and her final year of gymnastics. So it's been really exciting being able to, watch her compete and fulfill her last year of gymnastics as well because she is just so amazing. And yeah. Um, I think
A
another
lot.
big one would probably be Anna Roberts, who was also my former club teammate. And she has just been so dominant in the ACC this year and is just such an amazing gymnast. I love watching her. And I've loved also just watching her throughout her career since, we were just practicing as little babies in club gymnastics. And now she's also a senior this year. So being able to watch her just dominate and thrive as a gymnast also has been really, really awesome. And so, yeah, I would say those have been some really good ones. I would like to say, also, UCLA has been as a whole, as a team, that's really, really exciting to watch. Sorry, like so many things are just like popping into
No,
my
I
head.
love it. I love how supportive you are. I think it's like the coolest thing ever. And I love you're giving like actually very unique answers. And I love that.
Yeah.
Because
I
most
feel
people
like
would probably
now,
just
like,
like my
yeah,
team. And like it's nice to hear like you actually have like a lot of
yeah.
insight.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like also since like I feel like when I'm watching meets, I'm just like a fan, a spectator. Like I'm just like watching for the enjoyment of like watching good gymnastics. And so I feel like I can like actually appreciate more of, what I see instead of like, just feeling so in a bubble when you're like actively like
Yeah.
competing, I feel like. But yeah, as a team, I feel like UCLA has just been such an exciting team to watch. Especially with their freshman class. I mean, they have so much to bring to the table too. So, and of course, Miss
Yeah.
Jordan Childs of so there are just a
She's
lot
that
of
girl.
yeah, she is that girl, but there's just a lot of good people that are competing every single week in the NCAA. So I definitely have more in my head, but I those are just a couple
Nice.
I'll never
You
stop
gave
talking.
me way more than I ever could have asked you for. All right, my final question. So I do the Leo features for gymnastics now.
Okay.
We've featured Cal a few times. If
Okay.
you had to pick one Leo that you would wear
Let's see.
all the time, whenever, like every competition for like a year straight, which one would it be? And if you had one Leo that you could eliminate forever, which one would it be? Competition Leos for Cal.
Oh man. And these are like from the Cal collection as well. So
Literally whichever one.
okay. Okay. Let's see. Well, I mean, off the top of my head, my favorite Leo ever that I could wear for weeks and weeks straight just because I loved it so much was definitely Bloom. Um,
Love.
that was a fan favorite, a team favorite. I still love when the girls wear it even now, but I think that was definitely my favorite Leo ever. And my class chose it to wear it for senior night too. I got to wear it for our senior photos. Like it was by far my favorite Leo. So off the top of my head, Bloom, 100%.
Love.
Um, yeah, I would say if there was one I had to eliminate,
Kindly,
all
with love.
was probably which we only wore also one time, and I believe this was my sophomore year of college, but, it would probably be Dottie. It was only debuted about one time at home, and
Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
if we wore it after that, but that was probably gonna be the one that I'd have to eliminate. But, you know, it hasn't seen the light of day for a while now, so I think with all love and
Maybe there's
respect.
a reason. Love and respect, but
Yeah,
every gymnast
I just
has one, and I was like, she would be
yeah.
a good person to ask because we've featured y'all before for upcoming year Leos, and I was
Yeah.
like, you guys have so many. I wonder if
Yeah,
she
we
like,
do.
yeah,
Mhm.
because I was always very like picky. Like I always had like the one Leo I loved, and then the
Oh,
one Leo I
yeah.
absolutely hated, and I was like, oh, it'd be so interesting to ask
Absolutely.
her.
Yeah, yeah.
So those are yours.
Those would be mine for sure. Yeah. We
So
did
no tea,
not
no shade to
level up
Dottie.
from the internet, yeah, on that one either. The internet destroyed that one. Yeah.
I'm eager to go look. I'm eager to go look when after this.
But,
Heavens.
I know we haven't been able to debut some new Leos this year, but we're gonna keep you guys on your toes. Jer's cooking up some fun
They're
little calories.
coming?
I'm
Okay, we'll be on watch. We'll be on watch.
yes, for those to be debuted later this
Oh
season,
my
so
gosh, and she gave us a little
excited.
teaser. We love it.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, well, that is all I had for you. You have anything else you want to add? Anything else? You good?
Oh, you know what? I think I am good. I was honestly trying to think of another thing that it just wrapped around my head, like that's something that didn't go well for me this week, but I still couldn't think of
Oh, no,
one.
you're
If there
fine.
I
Hey, you're just
yeah.
having a great week, and we'll take it. We'll take
Yes,
it.
exactly. I will take that because it's been chaotic recently.
Me and you will. Don't worry. I think it's in the universe. But we are happy to have you. We love seeing you in your pantsuits as an assistant
Oh,
coach, but
thank
we also
you.
loved watching you as a gymnast. So we're
Yeah,
excited to see where you go from here.